what is sexuality, right? Like, is it like knowing that like people have sex, or is it like knowing who you're attracted to? So I think I was born and raised Catholic, so when I was little, I was always told like having sex is bad, and like same-sex relationships are even worse. So I just kind of blocked anything that had to do with sex and sexuality out of my mind. I was just like, no, it's all bad. God will hate me. I'll go to hell.
Well, before I was in high school, I would think about possibly being gay. I think when I had friends that I was kind of attracted to before I was in puberty, but I didn't really know what that was. And then as I started going through puberty and becoming a teenager, I think I realized I was more and more attracted to guys than girls. And as soon as I got to college, I realized that I wasn't interested in girls and that I was only interested in boys. So I came out as soon as that happened.
I think I realized I was bisexual in 6th grade. It's like it takes a while because you're like, oh hey, that girl's cute. You're like, oh no, but it's like totally platonic, right? And then you're like, no, I'm really attracted to her. So I feel like I sort of realized it in 6th grade, and then it was more in 7th grade where I started to come out and I was more sure of my sexuality and, you know, all that.
Say I knew my sexuality probably like 8th grade in middle school.
But then in high school, you know, people start to like, you know, experiment, and they're like dating for the first time. And I still was like, no, this isn't for me. But when I was a junior in high school, I like met this girl, and we like really bonded and we really connected, and we both kind of realized like, oh, like we're definitely gay for each other. But it was a huge deal because we were both really Catholic within these really Catholic families. So it was like a real struggle to sort of first acknowledge that I was attracted to this person, and then figure out like what's next. What does that mean? What does it mean to have a healthy relationship? Thankfully, I had teachers who were there for me, who I could talk to, and they were like, God doesn't hate you, you're not going to hell, like, just get through high school so you can go to college. And I think that, you know, eventually I ended up at a college with a big LGBT community, and I felt really supported, but I became a teacher because I want to be there for kids who are coming out in high school, because it's really hard to do it alone, and it shouldn't be that hard.
I think nowadays they're treated with more respect than in like the 80s, 90s, or before, I guess. I mean, yeah.
I don't hear derogatory gay terms. I also don't hear derogatory racial terms. I also don't hear derogatory physical impression terms. I think that we as an educated society are becoming more accepting that everybody needs to be different. Otherwise, who wants to live with clones?
So, I think that it affects them a lot because like it usually uses that term gay as an offensive way, not like a normal like kind of thing. So like I think that some people actually take that serious and like get hurt if they're gay or not. I mean if they're gay when they use the term gay in the wrong way.
I don't hear him very often. Yeah. A couple times over the course of.
Agreed.
How often? I mean, I feel like every time I walk outside of my classroom, I hear something. I hear someone yell out, "Oh, that's so gay," "faggot," "fag," or just kind of something where even if you're not using that language, you'll allude to being gay as something that's lesser.
Probably at least like once every 2 days or something. So pretty frequent, but not as much as it used to, I guess.
People use the term gay or like fag, stuff like that. 98.5% of the time.
Bullying, like picking on a gay kid, no. There's one, and I think a few people view him annoying, but not for that reason. I think they're treated like everyone else, and that makes me feel good that I live in a society where most people are treated equal, especially the wise words of Krasinski.
My name is Ms. Porter. I am an administrative vice principal currently. I have, prior to this year, I taught social studies at Woodside High School for 25 years. And I did an inventory with students of all sorts of statements about whether they agreed or disagreed about statements about gay people being allowed to serve in the military and get married, and it would be okay if I found out one of my children were gay and things like that. And that's where I'd seen this monumental shift in the 25 years I'd been here. I taught psychology for a number of years, and part of the curriculum was to address the issue of how the American Psychiatric Association looked at homosexuality, and actually a little bit of how pre and post Freud homosexuality was viewed, and how originally the American Psychiatric Association considered homosexuality to be a mental health disorder.
Homosexuality is in fact a mental illness. 2 out of 3 Americans look upon homosexuals with disgust, discomfort, or fear. 1 out of 10 says hatred.
And how the evolution of the diagnostic and statistical manual had eventually revised and changed that.
Treated good, they're actually treated with respect, because like everybody respect like their opinion and like their way of being, and like I think that should be the way, because like you shouldn't be mistreated because you like people of the same sex, or because you like something else. Like that's your own way.
They are taught that no man is born homosexual, that it is not genetic in origin, not the result of a hormone imbalance. Rather, they are told that sexual behavior is learned behavior.
I don't know, I think that is kind of like your own thing. You can either choose to do it or not, because like that's like what you like, so it's up to you.
I believe that's a personal question.
I don't comment on.
That's a personal question.
Absolutely. I think that people are born that way. Nobody chooses to make life that difficult for themselves.
I'm pretty sure it's born, right? I don't know for sure.
I woke up and I said, I think I'm straight today.
Yeah, no, I kissed a girl in 7th grade. That's how I knew.
You did?
That's how I knew.
Since the day I was born, I realized that I really love girls, so yeah.
I think I was born straight.
I don't think that there's like a time that you could choose. Like, yeah, April 26th, 1999 was the day I decided that I was straight. Like, it's not a choice. It's something that you just always feel, I think, so.
It was not a decision. I was just born that way.
I believe there are some kids who are openly gay, but I don't think I can say their names. And they're the same. Treated the same way. No negative stigma.
I mean, people have to come out in their own time. I think coming out is more liberating than it may sound. It sounds scary at the time, but when you go through it, I think it's really a positive thing, and it does make life easier. Though people shouldn't push each other to come out when they're not ready. And I think that the world is more accepting now. So I think especially if you're at Woodside and you feel like you might want to come out. There's a lot of support around here, I think, for students.
We live in a world where like most people assume that everyone else is straight, and so it's hard to just keep like being gay in a world where that's not the norm. And so I think that what we can do to support people and like help them out is to not make those assumptions, and to like not use language like, oh, are you like, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? And instead use language like, are you seeing anyone? Like, who are you dating? And like, there are little things that we can do to change our language to make it sort of like more open and open-ended and accepting of all people.
Find somebody to talk to. Find a teacher that you trust, or another adult that you trust. Find friends that you trust. Talk to somebody.
I know a certain individual who hasn't really come out yet, and I think that once he feels that it's the right time, he should come out. I don't think anyone should really force you, because that's a big thing to do, and I think they should just take their time, and when they feel ready, then they can come out. But I'm gonna accept them whoever they are. So, yeah.
Just try to find support from people who you know it won't hurt you to come out to.
it is a tough thing, so find support, whether it's a friend, family member, a group, a teacher, anyone you find support, just to help with that process. And I mean, yeah, that support, lean on them and stay strong. I just think, in the long run, being yourself, you're always happy, and that's ultimately what you want to be.
I think the best advice I could give them is to just be comfortable, because there's people that love them and support them no matter what they choose or who they choose to love. You just have to be confident and see that what you want, who you want to date, is what makes you happy, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. For you to be happy.
Don't be afraid to be who you are.
And you don't have to be afraid, because we're